1 minute, John? Okay.
I have mine.
I'll take it.
Phyllis, I'll get you some.
Thank you.
Oh,
better
Murph
get
is
to
such
have
a
this on the
gentleman.
table. Fantastic.
Look at that.
All
I don't think
right.
they made them anymore.
I'm good.
So we're going to start as we usually do with the video. I thought this one was really kind of cool. Sometimes we're told you got to be grateful, you got to be grateful, you got to be grateful, you got to be grateful. But sometimes it's just thinking about how blessed we are for what we have is cool. So I'm going to show you guys a short video about this gal, Jessica Cox. And then we're going to move into the training, and we got some energy, we got some power, we got the Petaluma crew in here today. Yeah. Right on. Okay, so it's all good. So here we go. Microsoft Petaluma, sorry.
Oh, can you pass this down? Take one and pass it down.
Was that you?
No, that wasn't me.
Sounded like you.
Francisco. Where's that at?
Sounded like you from the taco truck.
Oh, boy. Corn dogs, maybe.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. That's weird.
Do they have a corn dog truck here?
No,
Wishes.
yeah.
Owen would be there.
I would be there every day.
We've gone to competitive eating in San Francisco. Is our new thing.
What's that?
Competitive eating? You're familiar, right, with competitive
50
eating?
hot dogs?
So there was a competitive
Kobayashi.
eating contest against Marshall and someone who will not be disclosed, and it was.
So I want you. Do we have all the introductions done? Everybody know everybody here? Okay, if you, just in case you don't.
Marshall,
Okay,
Rihanna,
wait. Why don't we just go
Phyllis.
around? Just go around and say your name
Yes.
and just one interesting thing about your weekend. Just one interesting thing about the weekend.
Owen Oakley, Petaluma office. One interesting thing. Finally got to sleep in.
All right.
That is
It's
interesting.
as interesting as it gets.
Yeah.
Bill Yetter, Petaluma, probably Matt Cain Saturday.
What?
That's not-
Baseball.
Matt Cain,
Sorry.
the way he pitched Saturday was
Ah, very nice.
as good as Lincecum yesterday.
There we go.
And he didn't get rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Got chumped.
Brian Murphy, Petaluma. Like baseball, went to the last 4 games against the Phillies. It took all 4 to finally beat them.
That's good hard work on your
You were at the
Thank
fight?
you.
Yeah.
You were at the fight Friday night?
Oh, yeah.
How was that?
It's fun.
All right.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Deanne Glover, Petaluma. I put on an abalone feed at the villa for like 20 people.
Yay.
Nice. In her niche for one of her associations Yeah, up ECA. north, ECA.
Very
Turned out very nice. Nice. Right, a
Cool.
boatload of revenue now, okay?
Good morning, Phyllis Cameron. This weekend, my husband celebrated his birthday, and our 5-year-old bought him a watch and picked it out, everything.
Nice.
Aw, cute.
Right on.
Awesome.
Very cute. That's a risky proposition. 5-year-old pick your watch.
Her
Yeah.
idea, and she picked it. And it was
Very
such a
cute.
hit.
And the Mickey Mouse and
I
everything.
like that. So Jeff Hamlin and swim team's over. So that's good
That
news
is to
for
be
the Hamlin family.
celebrated.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm Deborah Costa, and I went on a nice hike.
Yeah, very good.
That's nice.
Cool.
Very good. Liz Bishop, Petaluma, and stayed up kind of late last night with some of the Southwestern, what they call book kids. And it was one of the girls' last weekends with us because she's going to be heading back to school as of this next Thursday. So it was kind of our last Sunday night together. So we were hanging out, kind of partying. It was kind of fun. So not just Heffernan people like to party.
I'm Rihanna Rudy. I'm in San Francisco. And I went wakeboarding this weekend for the first time in a while.
Right on.
It was fun.
Cool. Where do you go? Delta?
Tahoe.
Tahoe? Cool.
Cold. Ooh,
It was cold.
yeah.
Marshall Naring, and I drove for about 20 hours this weekend.
Where to?
I did. And why?
SoCal and back. I had a housewarming party of a good friend. They just bought a house, so went down to visit.
Right on.
Terrible idea. Don't do it.
Right
They
on.
have Southwest, you know.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Another interesting idea.
Yeah. We actually went to a winery this weekend called Guglielmo Winery, and they do 4 times a year. They do where you can bring a bottle, and then you bottle your own wine. And it's like a mixture of all the different grapes and whatnot. It's just a fun event with a band and everything, so that was kind of cool. Brought my daughter, and even though she can't drink, she had a blast, so it was all good.
Cute.
All right. So I want you guys to start with just a blank piece of paper. So maybe turn something over to the back. And I'm going to read a little bit to you, and then we're going to get in. I want you to write out just this cool poem, and it's called "The More I Train." If you guys want to write down "The More I Train" at the top. In almost everything in life, if you're going to turn it up a notch and be anything above average, you're going to have to train to get better, and that's what you guys are all doing in here today. Some people call it practice, others call it drilling into your head or rehearsing. To me, they all mean that you're in training, trying to improve yourself and reach that pinnacle of success you're looking for. When I want to really excel at something, I PDR. You guys have heard this before, practice to rehearse like crazy. If you really want to be at the top or improve where you are, you need to embrace the training concept and be willing to put up with the pain. It takes to train. Otherwise, you'll experience the pain of regret if you do not reach the goals you're aiming for. I want to say that again. You have to be willing to put up with the pain to train. Otherwise, you'll experience the pain of regret for not reaching where you want to be. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. And training breeds confidence and preparedness, which is the exact opposite of fear and mediocrity. Write that down. Training breeds confidence and preparedness, which is the exact opposite of fear and mediocrity. So training breeds confidence and preparedness, which is the exact opposite of fear and mediocrity. So here's the poem I want you to write down. It's pretty interesting. Okay, write this down. The more I train, the quicker I get. The quicker I get, the slower they seem. The slower they seem, the easier the game. The easier the game, the greater my threat.
Dad, you got a pen?
What?
The greater my threat, the more attention I draw. The more attention I draw, the tighter they play me. And the last one is the tighter they play me, the more I train. So I always, I live in this every day 'cause this is what I do. But someone says, well, when do you stop training? When is like I've arrived? Okay. Well, probably it might be something new you're training on, but probably never. You're consistently growing, consistently putting in, you practicing it, PDRing it, practice to rehearse. So, I'm just curious, Owen. What were you a sports guy?
Yeah.
Okay. When you read that or think about what runs through your mind?
Just same thing as playing soccer growing up. That you're always playing with the better players so that you become better. And the better you become, the easier the past games seemed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think there's an inherent issue that salespeople have about the adrenaline rush. A lot of people are expressive personalities,
Yeah.
and they almost get addicted to not preparing, and it's a weakness I think inherent in a lot of salespeople, where you are going on a call and you absolutely really have, not that you don't have any idea what you're going to say, you have some idea of what you're going to say, but you really don't know how the call is going to go, and there's an adrenaline rush from not preparing, and then there is that regret later. And so I noticed for our team, a lot of times, we have the closes and the behavioral styles and all that in kind of a little book that we carry around.
Sure.
And it's, even though we are making every effort to look at that every time before we go, there are times that we might misplace or whatever, and it's easy to not do it. It's easy to forget. Mm-hmm. And I think what you're saying is super valid, and it's counter to most salespeople's tendencies, because they like the adrenaline rush of not knowing how it's going to go and hopefully pulling it out of their butt in the end and high-fiving after and laughing about how we pulled something out of our butt.
Right.
And that really isn't the most effective thing. It is so much more effective to be, doing exactly what you're talking about and practice drilling and rehearsing.
Yeah, and it's weird. A lot of training I do is for real estate. And if you've heard of real estate coaches, there's a lot of real estate coaches out there. Do you know as soon as you get in a coaching program for real estate, what you're doing is you're getting a role play partner, and your coach is bugging you every 2 weeks when you're talking. How many times did you do role playing in the last 2 weeks, where you were actually practicing back and forth and saying the scripts back and forth and doing the phone calls back and forth, practicing it? And I think that's one of the only industries where they really, really are tight on that. And I'm thinking it should be in every industry. I'm thinking it should be insurance and mortgage and all the different ones, because the reason they do that is they want you to sound polished and better than the next realtor that's calling on them. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one, but and you might just write on your paper, role play partners. Find someone that you like. Get with them. Have a coffee with them. Practice this stuff. You guys have, I think this is the 10th month. You guys have 10 months of material now that you can go through and look at and rehearse and practice back and forth and rewrite with some of the insurance lingo. And I have to say that it's not what you learn in here, okay, these days of these training. This is the kind of the starting point, but it's the going back and reviewing it and practice over. A golfer one time maybe has their lesson with their pro, okay, they get a better sand shot. That's not where they're learning it. They're learning it from hours and hours and hours of in the sand, practice drill, rehearsing it. So this is meant to be the spark in here to kind of get it going and give you the information. But it's one of those things that you guys heard. You get a training binder and you don't open it to gather dust. Okay, it will be there for a little bit, but then it comes back. And that's one of the reasons where you guys have heard me sometimes when I do training, I say, oh, you guys, I've already talked about that 4 months ago. I repeat that, and there was a reason for it, because I want it to come back into your head. Like, oh, he's already talked about that, and it reaffirms in your head. You know it. Okay, so there's a reason for that. And so, anyways, I just thought I wanted to start with this today because training is it's a critical part. We'll never let this division go in our company because it's absolutely, we're training ourselves all the time. We're constantly learning and whatnot. So, okay. So now we're going to do something fun because I think it was 2 months ago or 3 months ago, we did objections. Okay, and I told you guys when I did objections that I didn't get to, it's like really a 2 or 3 hour module because there's so much you can do with objections. And one of the coolest, funnest things that we do with objections is we play what's called the objections game. And so we're actually today going to play a game in training. And we're going to get in teams. I'm trying to say we got 5 on this side. You know what we'll just do? Okay.
5 on 5?
Yeah, 5 on 5. Okay, Jeff, we actually, Lizzie, you're going to be the judge with me. So unless you want to do it with us.
Well, I'm in. I want to play.
Okay. All right. And Jeff, I think you go on this team. Okay. So you got one manager on this team, and one person on this team goes. Maybe when we need. How about Phyllis? You go over that team. Okay. You trade with Jeff. Okay. Now here's what we do. If you could pass out that sheet, Lizzie, that we worked on.
I already did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So where's mine? Here's mine. All right. So we have on this paper right here. We have 10 objections that we came up with that are probably ones that you get the most often, okay, in your business.
And you know what? For those that are listening in today, I will forward this to your email right now, okay? So give me a second.
And if you reply, if you're listening in right now, because we know some watch it later after we record it.
Yep.
If you're listening right now, reply to Lizzie, okay? So we know who the people are that are watching in right now. And she'll know that 3, 4, 5, 6 of you are listening in, and we're going to put you on a team also. Okay, and you'll be on cell phone. We'll put one person on this side with, so they can be listening in because you guys are a team here. And there's prizes, by the way. Okay, so get competitive right now.
Nice.
All right.
Get competitive right
now. Okay, you could win some money. Okay. You could win some money. Just leave it at that.
Money.
Okay? Not a big prize, but it's competitive. It's kind of fun. All right?
Pepsi. Right
So, okay. So here's what we're doing. First of all, I want to review when you get an objection. And you guys, if you can't find this either in your training binder that we passed out before, or grab a blank sheet of paper, because this is a training we did a couple months ago, excuse me. This is the 7-step, and this will be important when you're answering these objections. So you might want to write these down now. So at least one person on your team writes it down. This is the structure on the way we're going to answer the objections. So there's a 7-step process to overcoming objections. Okay. First of all, when someone gives you the objection, you have to very much be listening. You have to absolutely be tuned in. We're going to talk about body language today and what you do with your body language when you're listening, your eyes, and the whole shebang. But you have to be listening and determine if what they're giving you is an objection or an excuse. Okay? Give you an example. When someone says, I want to think about it, is that an objection or an excuse? Excuse. They're around to think about it because you haven't brought enough value, they can talk to somebody else, the price is too high, whatever. Okay? So you want to determine if it's an objection or excuse. Second thing you want to do, you want to find out if it's the real objection. Ask them if this is the only reason or is there something else. Usually it's more than one reason. If the last reason they give you, usually it's the last reason they give you that's the real reason. So I'll say, okay, Marshall, besides that, is there any other reason that would hold you back from us working together, that would cause us to not be able to have an appointment together, whatever it is. Okay, and they go, well, yeah, there is one other thing. Okay, and they give you another thing. And they'll say, is there anything else? You always want to make a little note. You always want to keep going until they say no, there's nothing else. Because sometimes it won't be the real objection till the third one. All right? So, and if they say, no, there's nothing else, the odds are, I think it's like 80 to 85% that the last one they give you is the real reason, because subconsciously they don't want to tell you what the real reason is. All right? And then you say this, if I can overcome that concern to your satisfaction, we can then move forward and work together, which is going to be number 7, which you'll see. Number 3, feedback the objection. Feedback the objection. Let them know you're listening and give you time to really think through the right answer. There's 2 reasons to feed it back. So if I'm hearing you right, Deb, and you feed it back. What you're telling me is, and you feed it back to them. Number 1, it lets them know you're listening. And 2, you have to think through in your head, how am I going to answer that? It gives you a little bit more time to think of the way to overcome the objection. 4, don't fence with them. Oh my gosh, over the years I've seen some people that they get in there, no, fencing's like disagreeing. You know what I mean? No, you're not right on that. And you
that's
never.
That's not true. I've heard people go, that's not true. Like,
we actually pretend that there's a pillow. You want to soften it. That's what you want to do. There's a pillow between you and them, and we call it cushioning. You might want to write that on your notes, cushioning. The idea is to not be so harsh when they give you an objection. You're going to cushion the objection. So you say stuff, and you guys have heard this before, feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. I totally get it. Okay, and they go, wow. Because a lot of times they're thinking you're gonna kind of come against them. No, I understand that. No big deal. All right. Number 5, let them know they're not alone. Man, everybody this week's been telling me that. The market's been tough the last 4 or 5 days. Gosh, I totally know what you're going through. You're not alone. Then they feel like, man, he really cares about me. He's really sensitive to that. So I understand how you feel. A lot of people feel the same way. Or you're not the only one that feels that. There's a lot of different ways you can say that second part, but let them know they're not alone. And then 6, use a statement like what we found was, and that's when you're going to answer the objection in a polished way. And we're going to give you guys a chance in a moment to get in groups. We're going to throw you out objection. We're going to give you 2 or 3 minutes as a group, okay, to come up, okay, what do you guys think the best way we should answer this is? And you're going to come up with the most polished one. So this is going to be good because you're all going to be interactive, number 1. And 2 is you're going to learn some really cool new ways maybe to answer some of these objections. So I'm going to want you guys to have your notepad ready and maybe write some of these down because you'll probably come up with some good ideas when you get these. Remember what I remember telling you guys. Do you remember what Tom Hopkins said why he closed 93%? I tell you guys, Tom Hopkins, the realtor guy, so he closed 93% of the people he got in front of. Number 1, he had 20 closes. Right. Okay, and 2 is he knew the answers to every objection that he might get. But he PDR'd it. He practiced or rehearsed it, So if you've ever been to a Tom Hopkins seminar, someone like that that's really into the scripting, okay, that's what they have you do all weekend long is practice the scripting.
Right.
All right. So if you guys have the answers to these written out, then you practice and practice. So when you get the objection, man, I know the 7-step thing. I go right into it. It's polished, and I overcome it. Because guys, honestly, have you ever called into a company when you're cold calling or even referral and they just blow you off and you're like, your tongue twisted? God, I could have got it. It's like you just hang up. Oh my gosh. Okay. You probably would have less of those. Okay, if we had a polished way to answer it. All right. Okay.
Well, 7.
So number 7 is the last one. Okay, remember I said it's kind of a compelling way to overcome it. Ask some sort of question that sets you up for the close. It might just be closed for an appointment. It might be closed for just a small little minor agreement. All right, it's not a big full-on sale necessarily. Usually use the if-then close. If-then close. If we do this, then would you be willing to do this? So I always say, if I can overcome your concerns or your concern to your satisfaction, would we then be able to move the ball forward or take a step forward in the process? That's a closing question. All right, then you better be able to give them the compelling answer to the objection. Now, I'm also going to give you guys a couple new answers to objections besides the ones you already have in your objections packet regarding approach that you may be able to weave into these answers today. So this is some new material. These are kind of some cool, funny stuff if you write this down. If someone says, are you selling something? So this is on the approach. Are you guys selling something? You're calling in for information, and they go, you're not trying to sell me anything. Okay. And then you could just kind of be kind of funny, because what does humor do?
Lightens it up.
It deactivates it. It takes their guard down. So your answer to that, if you're selling something, not so far today. Okay? And then you just and just be quiet. And they might laugh or say something funny, but it loosens them up a little bit. Where did you get my name? How did you know about me? People that are the detectives, the analyticals that are really like, what's this about? Here's a really, really good way to answer. The book people do this, Liz. Okay? Write this down. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess you haven't heard about me yet. So whenever when they say, where did you get my name? Or what's this about? Oh, I'm sorry. I guess you haven't heard about me yet. What does that infer? I'm sorry. I guess you haven't. What's that?
But they should have.
They should have. I'm talking to everybody. I'm the one talking to all. We used to say when we sold books, I'm the one talking to all the families in the city with school-age kids from 5, 6 years old all the way through high school. You guys could say, oh, I guess you haven't heard about us. We're the ones talking to all the companies. And it almost builds credibility, like, oh my gosh, Heffernan's huge. We're the ones talking to all the companies. That's a powerful line to use, guys. It's a really good one. All right? I'm busy right now. You guys ever get that one? I'm busy right now. It's a tough time. End of the month. Call me. You guys ever get that one? I'm sure you probably do. That's exactly why I'm calling. I'm just trying to set up a time. So it's like, that's exactly why I'm calling. I'm really just trying to set up time. Because I know you're busy right now. But I'm really just trying to set up a time. I'm not interested. Now, if you guys, this one you have to have a little guts and you got to be humorous, okay? Well, if you were interested, would you pay with cash or credit card? Just kidding. Okay. But sometimes you just got to have a little humor. And you know what? 1 out of 3 or 4 times they laugh with you, and it's maybe just been a bad day for them. Can you call me back later? If you guys ever get that one, can you call me back later? And man, if I call you back later, will you take my call? Absolutely. Will you call me back later? If I call you back later, will you take my call? And if you want to get them to say yes first, that they'll take the call, because now they're committing to the call, and say, what time should I call? And then you give them a choice of 2 positives.
Yeah, and I've done that recently.
Have you?
And basically, I had a CFO at a winery blowing me off at Domaine Chandon, and she was just, French. She's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I cannot talk to you right now. I'm blah blah blah, just blah blah," And I was like, "Oh my god." I said, "Okay, Veronique, let's do this. You know what? You're really busy and I'm really busy, so why don't we set up a time? I don't know. Does next Friday afternoon slow down for you? It seems like the afternoons are better for you, possibly. So let's both set up a time so we stop playing phone tag. And I'm being pleasantly persistent, I hope, and I think that it is worthy for us to chat. Would you be, willing if I sent you an Outlook invite for us to set up a time at 2:00 next Friday? And she said, yes, go ahead, send it. She never accepted it, mind you. But it does, I think, seed into their calendar as sort of a half shadow, doesn't it?
If they open it.
If they open it. Okay, but she never technically accepted it. But anyway, I call her 2:00 on Friday? Yep, no problem. Oh, yes, I was expecting your call. Okay, blah, blah.
I'm meeting with the guy named Ainsley, who's in charge of all the salespeople there next week. Maybe I could.
At Domain?
Yeah.
All right, very good.
I don't know what happened there. Okay, so we lost that, but that's okay. All right, so here's how the game works. You guys are team 1, and you guys are team 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, actually, we'll start with team 1. Just for that good. Okay? I'm going to throw out one of the objections on this paper. Okay? And I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes. 3 minutes to come up with a polished answer to the objection using the outline first, how you're going to cushion it. And you don't have to use all 7 steps every time. Maybe it's not appropriate for some of these. Okay, but you guys are going to talk about what would be the most polished way to do it. And then you're going to answer the objection. Now, I'm looking for 2 things. I'm looking for verbiage, okay? And I'm looking for the way you present. Okay? And if it's incredible, you're going to get a point for your team. If it's okay, you may still get the point, but I'm going to give, like, you guys know the show Family Feud?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give the other team a chance to steal. Okay, and get the point. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm going to be giving them an objection here, but you guys want to still be coming up with the answer to the objection here. There's 10 objections. There's 5 on each team. So that really gives everybody in here one chance to be the spokesperson. So you guys need to say if you guys, who's going to be your anchor, who's going to be your 5th one, because it might be close at the end. Who's going to go first? Okay, there's a lot of. So maybe one of you guys takes the role of captain on the team to kind of decide that and kind of have some strategy with this. And guys, I'm going to do the best I can to judge, and I want to be fair, like all of you guys. But we're going to go
Better
with this.
pick me, Gary. I'm going to kick your ass.
All right. So team 1, okay.
We got you.
Okay, you guys get ready, okay. And the first objection that we're gonna do. I'm going to move around. By the way.
Should we get in the circle?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to Billy and Murph back up so that.
Okay, I'm not going in any particular order here. All right. Okay. And you guys might huddle up because you don't want to necessarily have them here. Okay, the way you're going to answer it and stuff like that. All right. So here we go.
Are you taking off?
Okay. Okay. So we need.
So we're going to answer the same objection
Because you
we
only
right?
Are you coming back?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Here's the question. We need some time to think it over.
What number is that?
It's number 1 on the bottom part. We need some time to think it over. Our broker's coming in later today, and we'll call you.
That has never happened. That's why I put it on there.
Number 1 on the bottom.
So this is the bottom part's after you've met with them prior, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you're just looking for an answer from them to make a decision.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So how would you overcome that objection?
Oh, shit.
Okay. Okay.
You cannot say, oh, shit.
No, but hey guys, hopefully we'll come up with some good ones in here. That's the whole idea. Okay.
When I leave, so does my coat.
Okay.
What I would
Pick your person, and then help them up with the game plan.
I'm glad that they're
number
meeting
1.
with the
Who
broker.
wants to go first?
And my goal is to get them
let's
to
save-
not make
let's
the
save
final
Liz for
decision
last.
when they meet the
Okay.
broker and to wait till I
And then
talk with
who-
them after.
Who else wants to go? I choose.
No, I mean that would be a good result.
You
As
want to go
long as,
first?
Sure.
if we followed a kind of a 7-step process, if
All right,
you,
Marshall.
listen, is that an
So-
excuse? I would say that's a real objection. Right?
Yeah.
We have to like
So-
pretend we're not there, okay?
That
All right.
we determine.
So,
Well, do we
I think,
really know the real objection? Is it? Yeah, they're going to share the number. You're going to share that.
That would make it.
change of
Well, I guess it's the question is,
that
do
we
we try
represented to you.
and get around that and sell it anyways, or do we try and position ourselves?
Or maybe just ask for some positive affirmation.
Well, they already have it.
What
So I
about
don't think you
what
pull
we
it, right?
just
And
went over today?
You don't do the takeaway
sounds
with
good
your
to you.
presentation, because this is after you've already.
Okay.
So that we're kind of focusing
Yeah.
leaving an open-ended question.
But you try and
Okay,
get
so the first
give
thing
you
is,
mind whatever if you were
is to
before
kind
seeing
of
that
like
quote.
to reaffirm kind of that you're listening. So,
So maybe
say,
one
okay,
question
you know
is,
what, so
see.
you would like to.
What about if
you
you
know,
had
I'm hearing you, so you'd like to have a little bit more
additional
time to think about it,
credits
and I think that's
after
normal.
you're still pushing for trying to
It's
get
something we
additional
see
credits?
regularly.
This is what I would say.
And
Okay,
I
well,
understand
go
how
ahead
you
and
feel.
meet
You've
with
had a
the broker, 'cause I need to
relationship
talk to the
with your
because I
broker.
really
So
do
it's like
have one more
we're going
quote
through the
coming in. I
steps
just
here.
didn't
So,
because I didn't have the numbers.
you know, if I'm hearing you,
well, I kind of like you're responsible. Well, that's
uh,
great, because we're very
our
confident
broker,
that
you
that
know,
our
if I'm hearing
presentation
you like
is
to
the best
chat
fit
it up
for your
with your
needs, and
broker.
et cetera, et cetera.
Marshall, you're going to
And
be. You
once you
script this.
see what your
Oh,
broker
yeah.
presents, why don't you call us and
Okay.
allow us to
Okay,
discuss
so
what he,
if I'm
the
hearing you,
advantages, what he might have
you know,
had,
like
where
to
you,
wait and think it
express
over.
confidence
Mhm.
and
And we understand that you have.
pose that as a good thing. Right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you'll see that you
Exactly.
likely have the best option.
They
Now,
understand.
I don't know if you close them right
What's that?
there, because
Not if I'm
they're
hearing you.
going to look at
Okay, so I
their
understand.
incumbent
Okay,
anyway.
that's fine. That's perfect. Yeah. So I understand.
And I think you would have to ask, based on everything you've seen here, is there anything that would stop you from doing
I
business
think, you
with
know,
us, right?
most people
Yeah, just ask.
want to do that.
And maybe the if, well, at the end it should be the if then, right?
And
If all of our
let's see.
So that's
coverages
good. So we can go
are
number
superior,
one.
if
Right.
our pricing
We're
is
listening.
fair,
Yeah.
is there any reason why you won't go
We're
with
also
that?
saying, you know
Exactly.
what,
Right,
you're
and that
not
would
alone.
maybe
Bring
be how
out-
you end it. And then if you say yes, or if he agrees that, no, we will do business with you, then I would set up a meeting right then. So you're meeting with your broker too, when I come by at 5. And then you can try to close it there. So that would be kind of the tack there.
process, so
Right.
we understand
Because then
that.
at the very end, you'll find the
But
true
what we wanna
objection
do is we wanna
when you ask
find
them.
out what their
If there's
objections
anything-
are.
But I think
We wanna be able to drill
objection here
down
is there's,
some more.
they
Right.
don't
Figure
know,
out
right?
what
How do you-
They don't have all the
I mean, just
information.
Based on the reality of what we do, they're going to want to see what their
Right,
broker
so
has,
we-
right?
1 minute.
We're not going to get much more feedback.
Okay, so the
from
first part, well, that's
other than
great.
this
I'm glad you're
question.
meeting with
will
your
though.
No,
Oh,
You
yeah.
can ask.
Oh, yeah.
Meeting with-
Yeah, he can ask.
Broker.
Right.
your
We
broker.
got
Wait,
a
what-
couple
the next-
things that. we
Okay, then
need to
step
do.
2.
And then say, yeah.
So we're trying to
ask
find
them
what
to-
the real objections.
So we're
Yeah.
confident we presented the
Because
best
obviously
the best
they're
program
getting
for
us a
to suit your needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in that, they're not.
And
But
I
is there
would- I
anything
would
else
put
that
that.
you
I
need
would
before
say,
you
you
meet
know,
with your broker? Should we ask that?
Clearly,
Yeah, I would say,
there's
are there
a
any
reason
questions you
why
have
you
before
kinda
you
wanna
meet with your
wait
broker?
for the broker. And so what else? You know, what else is
That's what we want.
really
Well,
Okay.
what's it gonna
Pick
be?
your
Then-
spokesperson.
then-
Broker is coming in today, so what questions do you have for your broker?
I would say
That's good.
it's
Do you guys need 1 more minute?
yes,
please.
Okay, 1 more minute.
Maybe how about 5
You want to?
I gotta go. I'm supposed to. I don't want to.
That's okay. We might only get through 5 of them. That's okay though. This is good.
So Gary, I've got a guy starting today, and I'm meeting with him in
Yeah.
4 minutes ago.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna, I'll be back in like 10 minutes, just to make sure he knows that I'm alive. So I'll be right back.
What other factors are?
I think we should let them know we still have something that we
Is
haven't
there
seen
anything
yet,
else
just so
that
that
I
doesn't
can
make a
do?
decision.
So you guys are picking your spokesperson now?
No.
Who wants to talk?
What else? I mean, there's a reason you're hesitating.
Yeah.
I always kind of throw it out. I
And
throw
then
that
what
thing,
else?
so it's
What
okay
else?
for them to hesitate. So there's.
Dad wants to win. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want that. You know, what I should probably let you do is I should probably let you guys go out the other side right there. They would just
No, when you go in, you just
Yeah.
say, here's what we have so far.
Yeah, I should have set that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can say,
you
like
kind
we
of
talked
throw it out
about
there. You say
when we
there's a
started the
reason.
conversation, is that I'm
So
still waiting
what?
for the
Yeah,
quotes.
yeah.
Exactly what she just said. There's a reason you're
And that way they
hesitating.
can make
So
a final
what else
decision before you
would
come
you
back.
have liked to have seen from us
What
today?
else is it? What else
We don't need to meet anyone, we already
Yeah.
know.
Or what else would it take for us to,
What else
for
would
you to
it
be
take?
comfortable
Yeah.
to working, with
What's the
that?
reason for your hesitation?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because like,
And then they're going to give you another objection. They're going to say,
you leave,
you know what, we've
say,
been with our
okay,
broker
we're
for a long
going
time, and we
to
can't
go
imagine
back to
leaving them.
And
Anyway.
why don't I come back in at 5 because then I'll know
Yeah.
what my last thing
I want to
is,
think they
where
had
that
this
number's going to
20-year
be, blah,
relationship
blah,
with
and
their
then
broker,
I can answer any
friends,
questions that
and
you have.
finally, until the very end, is their point.
Right?
Okay,
Well, if they're flying buddies, what chance am I going to have?
Yeah.
Right, we can offer them a boat, we can offer them a villa, we can offer, but we cannot offer a plane.
Yeah.
It is in Mike's agenda.
So,
Fly a plane.
but what I mean is, what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that didn't just come right out.
Right.
Like,
Right.
oh yeah,
Like
they
you said,
fly in
usually it's the
Right.
last
It's-
objection.
Yes, so I just wanted to.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough.
Like, okay.
There we go. Yeah. Ocean.
Okay,
Yeah.
so wait, you need verbiage, so
yeah.
let's talk.
just give
I got-
What do you
I
have so
It's
far?
like, what
Yeah,
am
I
I wasting
understand.
time?
Definitely
What am I
understand
wasting
that.
my time?
Strong relationship
I can't.
is very important.
Right.
Compete with them.
But there is a reason for the hesitation, obviously. You know, what exactly is that reason? What? Tell
Yeah,
me.
what
Tell me
else?
more.
Yeah, what else? That's good. And then, say blah, 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 workers coming in later to. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, actually. What else? But then, let's see here, I have another note here. And if they don't cough up anything more, they might just say, you know what, we just wanted to give our broker professional courtesy, as you would understand. And, then you can go into the field help and.
Yeah.
Should we also just be asking,
So if I call you back at
That's what I was-
4 o'clock today, you're going to be prepared to.
what time do you think you'll be finished
Yeah.
discussing things with your broker?
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of get your
What's our
thoughts
next step?
afterwards.
Right.
Yeah, what do you think our next step should be?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now, also, if they get it right,
Excuse me. Sorry.
I will give you guys a chance to answer the same one. You guys will get a point.
Okay.
Okay. So, but the thing is that they may not get it that good, and you guys don't get the only point.
Okay.
All right. So, team one, who's going to be the spokesperson?
That'll be me.
Okay. So, Owen,
Gary.
you know, we just need to kind of think it over, man. Our broker's coming in later today. You know, I'm not sure, 3, 4, 5. He may not even be in today. He might be in tomorrow.
Okay.
And heck, he might never come back. He may never come back, Owen, so don't call. Just kidding. All right. But, so our broker's coming in later today, and you know, we'll give you a call.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. I'm glad you're meeting with your broker. I want you to get all the information after what we discussed previously. I think we have a great program, but you should be looking at all options before you make a decision. What time, or actually, sorry, back up. You're meeting with your broker. Question for you. Sorry. What information do you need from me prior to meeting with your broker?
That's good.
That might be able to help you make a decision.
I really need to look at all the numbers. Look at all the
Okay.
numbers and just see if it makes sense compared to what we've already been using.
Okay, so if I boil it down right now, what you're saying that after the presentation that we gave and the presentation that we kind of surmised that we think your broker's going to give, it's basically going to boil down to numbers right now, based on all the services that we have to offer. Okay, and then if your broker's coming in flat compared to our numbers, you know, what are you thinking right now, Gary, in terms of what would it take for us to be able to partner together?
Okay. Is that how you'd answer it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to reserve the right.
Well, we have more.
I'm going to reserve the right to give you a point until I hear theirs.
Okay.
Okay. He had two really. What were the two things, guys? The two questions he asked that were real good.
Is there anything
More
that would
information.
keep you from working with us?
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. And
Is there a little? Okay. What was one? What was the other one?
Getting the buy-in factor with the.
no,
What
what-
were
what-
they after meeting?
So before the reason I'm reserving you guys a little bit is because you had two good points there, but you kind of didn't cushion that good.
Yeah, no.
You
Nice
kind
to
of sucked at that.
Yeah.
Just-
no.
I'm not just playing
I know,
with you. You know I am because I can't play with you. Okay.
I want to understand why his cushion wasn't good enough. I don't understand.
I don't think he cushioned at all. I totally understand.
I jumped into it.
He didn't, I don't even think he did at all. He didn't even say, "Gosh, I totally understand." And he didn't ask, "Is there anything else besides that?" He didn't. There were some things, you know, that the skips, the steps that were skipped.
Yeah.
Okay, but those two were good. Okay, so let me ask you guys over here. Okay, who's going to be?
He did, by the way, say I'm
Oh.
glad that you're meeting, so it was
Yeah.
And tried to turn that as a positive.
I'm trying to teach you guys how to just make it awesome, okay? I'm
just giving him.
I'm not going to give you a point if you're still something. All right. The point of this is to get polished, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So team 2, we need some time to think it over. You know, our broker's coming in later today, and you know, we'll call you. Okay.
Well, that sounds great, Gary. I really understand a strong broker relationship is important, and I always try to put myself in that consultative role with my clients. So it's absolutely understandable thing to do. You know, but there's obviously some hesitation for you in moving forward and working with Heffernan at this point, and that you're going back and you want to discuss things. Can you tell me more about that? What are some of the other hesitations? I mean, is there anything more that you need?
Good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Good job.
I think I need to know financially how it looks on paper, putting apples against apples, oranges against oranges, because we've talked in general terms, but we haven't really talked in specifics yet.
Okay.
And before I go to, you know, my boss, I'm sure he's an analytical, he's a detective type, you know. So I want to know that.
Absolutely. That's we run into a lot of analytical buyers, especially, you know, in the insurance purchasing arena. And what I do for those guys sometimes is sit down, put together a spreadsheet side by side, line item out coverage, line item out premium. We could put something like that together for you. You can put in front of your boss if you like. That would potentially help you justify a decision.
Well, let me just go ahead and talk to him.
Okay, oh, fair enough. What time do you think I should follow up with you and discuss your meeting with him?
You can call me Friday.
Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so now what could he have done a little bit better? No, actually, let's talk about what did he do right. What did he do right?
Smooth.
Cushion.
He cushioned.
Yes.
He cushioned.
Definitely.
And I also think.
Where is Deanne?
I also. She went to the bathroom. I also think he cushioned, but he also didn't. He sound very kind of like calm and soothing.
Yes.
Remember, you have to do that
Confident.
because when they give you an objection, there's a concern.
Right.
All right, and if you don't cushion that, no matter what, whether a fighter, detective, entertainer, or counselor, doesn't matter which one they are,
That's
you
right.
have to cushion every single objection.
Right.
Okay, even if you have powerful information, because they're going to think you're fencing with them, and they have that concern for a reason. And they might shake their head pleasantly and go like this, but as soon as you're gone, they're not going to work with you. What else did he do right?
He offered to, bring some additional information to the table that would help them to make the decision by offering that comparative analysis.
Mm-hmm.
He affirmed that he worked with other, detective personalities or analyticals, and that he'd be happy to kind of provide additional analysis or graphs or blah blah.
What could he have done a little bit near the end when I said you can call me again on Friday? I think he got a little bit weaker there.
Right.
Like,
He didn't do kind of so.
What
Did you got-
time,
did you-
morning, night?
Yeah.
Or is there anything else that
Yeah.
you would need, or is there any other than looking at the price?
Yeah, he didn't do that. Remember,
Yeah,
remember,
he
you got to go
actually
dinner.
disclosed.
Besides that, is there anything else? That was the thing that was missing. Okay, and the other thing I think was on Friday. Okay, I absolutely want to have that conversation with you. You're serious about that conversation too. Should I reserve some time in the morning, or would afternoon be better? So you're tacking down rather than what time would you want to talk?
Got it.
All right, that would be a huge thing. So what I think I'm going to do in this first one, so you can kind of see what I'm looking for, what's right and wrong. You're each going to get 1 point on the first one.
Nice.
Okay. So you guys write that down. 1 point each.
Owen is
Team
a
one.
veteran.
Okay.
Good.
Each
You did a
team.
good job too, Owen.
Okay.
You did.
Well, the first ones, you guys are guinea pigs, kind of.
I
Okay.
got the numbers.
All right. Okay. Here we go. You guys are first this time. Yeah. But now you guys know what I'm kind of looking for. Okay.
We're gonna go in the other room. We're gonna
Okay. Okay. Number four on the first part. Please just email me your information. I'll review and decide if I want to even meet. Okay.
I hate that.
Okay. And we haven't decided whether we're going. A receptionist says to just send information. Now I gave you guys an answer on. I gave that one to you guys before when they say just send information. Okay. But you guys can still go through the process and try to be creative here and try to be, some new ideas will come out because we are going to get that one. So that's what it is. 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Again, decide who your person is, how you're going to answer that. Okay?
Oh, good. They're leaving.
Quit stealing our stuff this way.
A couple pieces.
Thanks. Make a new one.
I'm good for now, thanks.
Brian went small. Whereas
I'm huge.
just you bring it through now.
Did we lose?
No, 1-1.
Now with our project.
1-4. Please just email me your information, review, and decide if I want to meet. It's a hard one, I think.
All right, so it's more like an excuse.
Yeah.
So it's an excuse. And then...
The problem is, it's not even really...
Yeah, it's not even... They're just blowing you off.
It's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Oh, I know what to say. I'm actually going to be in your area tomorrow. I can just drop the information off.
Mm-hmm.
Feedback.
I would rather not email it to you because it doesn't come out as
It's a big file, or...
well presented as it does. You know, you have the actual colored copies.
Mm-hmm. They can still push back. Like, I don't want to meet. I just want the information before I meet.
We don't have to meet. I'm just dropping it off because I'm going to be right there.
Well, but then you take your time to drive out there and drop it off and don't see him either.
Yeah.
And you're still getting the same...
results. So we're trying to convince them, instead of dropping it off, just to... Because he says, or she says, I'll review it and decide if I want to meet. So they're not going to meet with you if you drop it off.
But at least they have a face to the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not going to read it. I mean, at least you know they have it. How are you, I mean, an email or...
Okay, so the first thing is, I understand you may be short on time.
Yeah, that's good.
And I don't want to take up any of your time. I'm just going to be up in your area actually tomorrow. And I'll just drop it off.
So
Should we ask what sort of information is it that you're looking for? Or can you say something along the lines that, typically I'd like to meet for 10 or 15 minutes to find out if we're a good fit and learn a little bit more about what you're going through in your company so that I can send you the necessary information. Because if I send you just a blank Heffernan, packet, most of it's just going to be, in one ear out
Well,
the
we're
other.
going to... I could email you the information, but basically that's just going to tell you that Heffernan's the largest independently owned broker in California, and it's going to tell you about, what great programs we have and all of that. But really, until we meet and sit down, you may not be a fit for us.
Yeah.
And we may not be a fit for you.
Yeah.
Make it sound like we don't need them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you don't mind, I'm going to be up your way, in the next couple of days. Maybe I can just drop the information off. And if you tell me a little bit about what you're looking for, I'll make sure that I get the information that you need so I don't give you a bunch of just garbage.
Yeah.
I think we use that, but try and turn it around for the meeting.
Yeah.
Use the angle that it's not... I could send you some information, but really what's important is having a quick conversation with you to see what your needs are and see what information we provide that's useful.
you're saying this is an important decision for your company. Are you, what is it that, why being such an important decision, why would you not want to have time to talk about it? I mean, that's kind of the crux of the thing. And
Guys, I'll give you a hint. Remember what I said before? Hey, I guess you haven't heard about us yet. We're the ones talking to all.
That's true.
There's a little hint from being in here and only having one less person. So.
No, that's good.
I wrote that down somewhere.
Remember I taught you guys that one a second ago? Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand that you may be short on time, and that'd be easier just to get the information. But then go into that, we are reaching out, or we're the ones who write the majority of.
I would
such
just
and
say it the way
such.
he said it. I guess.
Guess you haven't heard of us yet.
Or we found that when we email people the information, they really don't look at it. You know, it's.
I don't want to. You don't want to put a negative spin.
That's fencing, huh?
Yeah. You want to be more positive.
Well, we can send you the information, but will you promise to read it?
I know that's what Gary says too.
Yeah, but I think that's if we get totally shot down. I think it's trying to turn it around. Or it may just be the same. Oh, I guess you haven't heard of us yet, or haven't heard of me yet. We could send you some, and then kind of go back where we were going. I mean, is that just to kind of cool it off with that, and then go back? I guess you haven't heard of us yet. I could send some information, but it's not really going to apply to your needs. What we find makes more. Or what we find works better is if we could maybe just set up, say, a 10-minute meeting, the same amount of time it takes reviewing an email. We could sit down, or I could pop in and get a better feel for what your needs are.
Because the information that we send you is just going to be pretty generic.
Yeah.
But if we sit down, then I can compile something that's specific, geared towards you guys.
So, when you say, but make sure that you put in, after you say, I guess you haven't heard of us yet, we're the ones who blah, blah, blah.
Well, what's blah, blah, blah going to be?
Well, if Gary's a contractor, you can say, or a waste hauler, you can say, I'm the one who's the lead sponsor of the ECA or whatever you're.
I'm the one that just had the abalone dinner last weekend.
That's perfect.
You didn't hear about that?
Yeah. Next year we'll be invited.
Gosh.
And then that's when you go in your spiel. I can send you information, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't heard of us yet.
We're the ones who... And then after that, we're the ones who...
Yeah. How do we want to...
Well, let's just pretend, since you or Deanna are going to talk on this one, I presume, just pretend Gary's the contractor. So the abalone is great if Deanna does it. If you do it, Murph...
Well, let's do abalone.
I mean, what about the I feel part? I feel that it's important to me to get a true understanding of what our program has to offer.
That's right after
this. That's right after the abalone story. This is good, by the way.
Getting you guys involved. Yeah.
So I think we say the ones who
just had the abalone dinner.
I think it's a little too. I think we can do that. We're the ones who are helping all of the engineering contractors in the North Bay here. We just had the abalone.
So we sit on the board. We had the abalone dinner, and we're involved into all your functions. I'm sure you've heard of us.
Yeah.
God dang, if you haven't,
dummy.
That's my fault.
And then go into Billy's part about. This is an important decision. We want to send you the right information, not waste your time. So it would help if I would say collect information right now, but if you're busy, I could swing by and meet for 10 or 15 minutes.
Drop by.
Thursday. Drop by.
Hold on. I'm missing that. Back that up.
Okay.
What we found is just looking at price doesn't really tell you what we're really offering you.
But he's not talking about price.
We're not even talking about price.
We're not even there yet.
We're just trying to get in a meeting.
Right, but that's what they're going to do when they look at the thing. They're just going to go to the back page.
Don't let them
Can we take one more minute here? Hey, you guys, one more minute.
Shut the door. If money's involved. Where are you, Mark?
Engineer Con, we up here and just had the...
Not presenting, you're having coffee.
The
no, sure, you're the spy.
Oh, come on. I do no mole-like activities.
Just had the abalone feed. that's that we want to take that, we understand how you feel.
Yeah, then cushion it more by
what do we
saying,
wanna-
understand you're probably short on time.
Yeah.
And instead of emailing you this huge Heffernan document, which maybe 10% pertains to you, what we found most efficient is sitting down for 10 or 15 minutes.
Instead of sending you
a large Heffernan,
a bunch of Heffernan information
what would be most beneficial to you?
that may not interest you,
Yeah.
or that
Only
may not be what you're looking for.
Yep.
We would drop by for 5 minutes.
Answer your questions.
It might be more.
We find
This is good. You guys are crafting something here.
a better use of your time
If we swing by for 10 or 15 minutes.
if we pop
Or,
in for 10
or
minutes.
just if we have a chance to talk about it instead of just emailing it in.
Yeah.
to make sure
We answer exactly
we're
what you
answering
need.
exactly the questions that you have.
Perfect. This really is two questions if we're talking to the decision maker or the receptionist.
Yeah.
So the receptionist.
Well, it could be either or.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Murphy, you want to speak on this one?
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
I want to redo my later.